All right, so today, on our happy math day, we're going to be writing linear functions or the equations, linear equations from a graph. We're just writing them in general, okay? So first things first, in order to write a linear equation, we're going to write it in what we call the slope-intercept form. And the slope-intercept form is always written as y equals mx plus b. So y and x are just always there. They're representing the y and x coordinates on your graph. So those are just variables that will always be there. But this number multiplying in front of your x, that's your slope. And it is usually expressed as some type of fraction, okay? And then this number that's adding or subtracting after the fact is what we call the y-intercept. This is the point on the graph where your y value is where your line is crossing the y-axis, okay? So when you think about it, when the line is crossing the y-axis, x would be 0, so this stuff would go away and y would just equal whatever that number is. That's how it works in the equation. Now, so basically all you need in order to write a linear equation is you need a slope and a y-intercept. Once you have those two things, you can write the equation. And again, it'll look just like this. It'll always have a y and an x, and then it'll have like two actual numbers here. The slope goes next to the x, and y-intercept adds or subtracts depending on if it's a positive or a negative. So let's look at how this works with some actual numbers. So these first few examples actually gives me a slope and y-intercept, and I just have to write the equation for it. So to write the equation, again, the slope goes where the m is, the y-intercept would go where the b is. So it would be y equals, the slope is -7. So -7 times x, and then the y-intercept is +5, so it would be a +5. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Again, the slope is always multiplying with the x. Y-intercept is always adding or subtracting afterwards. Okay? Now this one is a little bit tricky. So let me show you how this one works. So if I were to substitute these in, so y equals, slope would be 0 times x, right? And then it's a -2, so -2. Now, since this is 0, 0 times any number is always going to be 0. So basically, no matter what x is, this whole term is going to go away. And what I'm going to be left with is just y equals -2, right? So the equation for this line is actually just y equals -2. And this is what we would call one of those horizontal or flat lines because it's a 0 slope, right? 0 slope means it's not going up or down. It's just staying right there flat on the line. So something like this would be a 0 slope. Okay? So, and this -2 shows where that line basically is. If it's at -2 on the y, that's where that horizontal is. Just that you go down to -2 on the y, and there's your horizontal line. Okay? It says no matter what x is, y is always going to be -2. And let's look at one more example here, given the two values given to me. So slope is y, or is -2/3, so y equals -2/3x. And then it's a +1 y-intercept, so +1. That's your equation. Not too tough, right? Well, let's look at some examples of finding it from a graph. So again, all I need is I need the y-intercept and I need a slope. Okay? So to find the y-intercept, you're looking for that point where it's crossing the y-axis. So it's crossing right here at +2. So that would be the y-intercept, +2. And then to find the slope, we build the stair to go down the ramp. So it's going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 2. So that would be a -6/2 slope. So slope is -6/2. And I can simplify that more to -3, right? So if that's my slope and my y-intercept is 2, the equation would be y equals negative 3x plus 2. And that's it. Now, if it's an undefined slope, this is a little bit different. The horizontal, the x went away. With undefined slopes, it's the y that goes away. And you're going to have x equals whatever the number is on the x-axis. So right here's the y-axis. So this is 1, 2, 3 over. So this is going to be x equals 3. Okay? Basically, when you get that undefined line, this is the only equation that's going to have x equals, and it's going to be x equals whatever number the line is on the x-axis. It's basically saying no matter what y is, x is always going to be 3. Always 3. No matter what the y value is. Okay, let's do another one. So if we look at this one, it looks like our y-intercept is down here at negative 3. So y-intercept, sorry, light went out. Y-intercept is negative 3. So I'm just going to write that over here. Y is negative 3. And then the slope, again, 2 points, build the stair. Looks like it's going down 1, 2, 3, and over 2. So the slope would be negative 3 over 2. Because it's rise over run, right? So that's my y-intercept, that's my slope. Do my equation, be y equals negative 3 over 2x, and then a minus 3 at the end, because it's a negative 3. Okay? Do one more example with you guys, do the other special case. So this is kind of like before, we're at the zero slope, right? So no matter what x is, it's always going to be just y equals whatever the y-intercept is. So if you go up here, looks like y is at 3. And no matter what x is, y is always at 3 here, right? So the equation would just be y equals 3. And that's how you write your linear equation. Again, all you really need is your slope and your y-intercept, and then you should be able to figure out the equation, because that's the only two numbers you need to write it.